Ethan stepped off the shuttle onto the soft green surface of the alien planet, his boots sinking slightly into the moss-like ground. The air was thick, sweet, and carried a faint metallic tang, unlike anything he had experienced on Earth. The colony was nestled in a valley surrounded by towering crystal cliffs that shimmered under the twin suns. Humans had only recently been allowed to settle here, under strict oversight by the Alien Council, a governing body known for its rigid customs and suspicion of outsiders. Ethan had been sent as part of a research mission, but he soon realized that his role went beyond science. He walked through the main plaza, marveling at the structures that curved elegantly like the wings of great birds. Alien citizens moved with a grace that made humans seem clumsy by comparison. Their skin shimmered slightly, reflecting light in subtle patterns, and their eyes, large and luminous, seemed to see far more than Ethan could imagine. Children played with floating spheres of energy, laughing in a language he couldn't understand but somehow felt soothing. Then he saw her. Lyra, the council leader's daughter. She was standing near a fountain that pulsed with a soft blue glow, her long silver hair catching the sunlight. Her eyes, a deep violet, scanned the plaza with quiet curiosity, stopping finally on Ethan. He bowed slightly, not out of fear, but out of respect. He had learned quickly that this culture valued honor above all else. Lyra smiled faintly, a small gesture, but one that made Ethan's chest tighten. He reminded himself to focus on the mission. Curiosity and admiration could not interfere with duty. That evening, the council convened in the grand hall. Ethan sat among other humans, surrounded by the tall, imposing figures of the alien council members. The room was filled with an energy field that hummed softly, illuminating intricate patterns on the walls. He felt the weight of dozens of eyes on him, some curious, others skeptical. The ceremony began with Lyra walking slowly to the center, carrying a glowing orb that represented purity and wisdom in their culture. She looked at Ethan briefly, and he nodded politely. A murmur spread across the hall. It was unusual for a human to meet her gaze without fear or awe. Then came the question that shocked him. "Why don't you touch my daughter, human?" Ethan froze for a moment, processing the words. In the alien culture, physical contact signified respect, trust, and sometimes selection as a companion or protector. The council's challenge was not just about propriety, it was a test of character. He looked at Lyra, whose eyes were wide, unafraid, and full of trust. Then he met the council leader's gaze and spoke calmly, with conviction. "She is too pure," he said. A silence fell over the hall. Whispers filled the air, disbelief mixed with curiosity. Humans often acted differently than aliens expected, and this answer was nearly incomprehensible to them. It was neither arrogance nor fear. It was a simple recognition of honor. Lyra's lips curved slightly in approval. Ethan's words, though brief, conveyed something the aliens had not anticipated. A human's capacity for respect, for restraint, and for moral clarity. Over the following days, Ethan's presence became a topic of discussion among the council. Some members were wary, fearing he might manipulate Lyra. Others were intrigued, curious about what drove this human to act with such integrity. Ethan continued his work in the research labs during the day, studying the planet's unique flora and fauna, but he found ways to interact with Lyra discreetly. They discussed the natural wonders of the planet, shared knowledge about their respective worlds, and even laughed over small misunderstandings of language and customs. He noticed her fascination with human stories of exploration, bravery, and invention. One afternoon, Lyra confided in him. "Humans are so different," she said softly, watching a small creature hop along a glowing vine. "They fight, yes, but they also protect. They risk themselves for strangers. I've never seen that here." Ethan smiled. "That is part of who we are. It is not always perfect, but we value life and we respect it, even when others may not." Lyra nodded, absorbing every word. "You respect me, even when others do not understand. That is rare here." Their growing bond, though unspoken in formal terms, became the talk of the colony. Some aliens observed quietly, noting how Lyra's demeanor changed when she was around Ethan. She smiled more, moved with ease, and asked questions that reflected a deeper curiosity about the human world. The tension reached a peak when a sudden disaster struck. A violent storm of plasma energy erupted from the cliffs surrounding the valley, threatening the colony. Communication networks failed, and the floating energy spheres that powered parts of the settlement began to falter. Panic spread among the citizens. Ethan did not hesitate. Using a combination of human problem-solving and a keen understanding of alien technology he had quickly learned, he directed rescue operations, stabilized failing systems, and coordinated evacuations. He moved with calm authority, guiding humans and aliens alike. Lyra watched from a high platform, fear and admiration in her eyes. She saw him working tirelessly, unafraid, treating everyone with fairness and compassion. When the storm finally passed, the council convened again. The alien leader's expression was unreadable, but Ethan noticed a subtle change, a hint of respect. The human had proven his courage, intelligence, and character not through words alone, but through action. Still, some council members remained skeptical. "He saved many, yes," one said, his voice measured. "But can we trust a human fully? They are unpredictable." Ethan approached them calmly. "Humans are not perfect. We make mistakes, but we also take responsibility. We value honor, trust, and life. Judge me not by fear, but by what I do." Lyra stepped forward. "He has shown me what humans are. He has shown me respect, courage, and care. I trust him," the council murmured. Some were impressed, others wary, but no one could deny the bond forming between human and alien. Ethan's answer from that first day, "She is too pure," had become more than words. It was a statement of principle, of moral clarity, and of the human way of seeing the world. In the following days, life slowly returned to normal, but the human-alien relationship had changed. Ethan and Lyra continued to meet in secret, sharing stories, exploring the planet's hidden wonders, and deepening their understanding of each other's worlds. They were careful, knowing the council watched closely, but their connection could not be hidden. One evening, Lyra led Ethan to a high ridge overlooking the valley. The twin suns were setting, casting golden and violet hues across the crystal cliffs. The wind was soft, carrying the scents of alien flowers and the faint hum of energy fields. "You saved many lives," she said quietly. "You could have left it to the council, to others, but you chose to act." Ethan looked at her, meeting her violet eyes. "I did what I had to. Not for recognition, not for reward. For life. For people. For you." Her eyes softened. "Your words, your actions. Humans are different, Ethan. But in a way I respect, I admire. You see things clearly, without greed or desire clouding your judgment." He nodded. "Respect is earned, Lyra, not demanded. And purity. Purity deserves protection, not possession." She smiled faintly, the wind lifting strands of her silver hair. In that moment, they understood each other without speaking further. Their bond, rooted in trust, honor, and integrity, had taken its first solid step. The storm, the council's challenge, the dangerous planet. They had tested Ethan in every way, and he had passed, not only with courage, but with the moral clarity that set humans apart. As night fell, the twin moons rose over the valley, casting gentle light on the colony. Ethan and Lyra lingered, silent, each lost in thought about the future. The council would continue to watch, but now perhaps they would begin to see humans not as unpredictable outsiders, but as allies capable of honor, courage, and wisdom. Ethan knew this was only the beginning. Challenges would come both from the planet and from beyond, but he also knew that humans could rise to meet them, with courage, integrity, and the ability to see the value in life and purity where others might not. And somewhere deep inside he also knew that his journey with Lyra would shape not just their lives, but the future of the human-alien relationship on this distant, beautiful world. The days after the storm were filled with rebuilding. Ethan worked tirelessly, helping repair damaged structures, restore energy systems, and ensure the safety of both humans and aliens. Despite the Council's watchful eyes, his calm and efficient demeanor earned the quiet respect of many citizens. Even some of the Council members who had been skeptical began to acknowledge his value. Lyra stayed close, observing, learning, and assisting where she could. She had always been curious about humans, but seeing Ethan in action had changed her understanding completely. He was brave, yes, but more importantly, he was steady, fair, and deeply principled. Her admiration for him grew with each passing day. One morning, while inspecting the repair of a floating energy conduit, a scout arrived from the edge of the colony with alarming news. A fleet of unknown alien ships had been detected approaching the planet. The scouts described them as large, heavily armed, and ruthless, an interstellar raiding force known for leaving devastation in their wake. Panic rippled through the colony, and the Council immediately called an emergency meeting. Ethan was summoned alongside the Council. He listened as they debated defensive strategies, their voices tense and anxious. The Council had great technology, yes, but they were unpracticed in real-time battle situations. They valued control and order, but often hesitated when decisions had to be made quickly. Ethan stepped forward. "We cannot wait. These ships are fast and will strike before any defensive measures can be fully prepared. We need a strategy that combines human adaptability and alien technology." Some Council members exchanged wary glances. Humans were unpredictable, yes, but Ethan had proven his skill and judgment before. They allowed him to speak. He outlined a plan. Humans would lead the forward reconnaissance, using their experience with tactical improvisation, while alien technology would provide defensive support. He emphasized speed, coordination, and communication, elements where humans excelled. The Council listened, some skeptically, others with growing interest. Lyra watched closely, impressed by Ethan's confidence and clarity. She knew he was not acting out of pride or ambition, but from genuine concern for the lives under threat. The preparations were intense. Ethan trained both humans and willing aliens in rapid response tactics, improvisation under pressure, and collaborative strategies. The Alien Council reluctantly permitted some integration of human techniques with their advanced technology. When the raiding fleet finally appeared in orbit, the sky darkened with their massive ships. Citizens of the colony watched in fear from below, unsure if survival was even possible. Ethan took charge, coordinating human squads and alien defense systems. The aliens marveled at his ability to stay calm under pressure, to anticipate enemy moves, and to make split-second decisions that saved lives. The first wave of raiders was met with a combination of human ingenuity and alien firepower. Explosions lit the sky and shields glowed as energy blasts collided. Lyra observed from a command platform. She could see the precision and courage with which Ethan directed the defense. He moved among them like a conductor. Each command measured, each action deliberate. She realized that the humans' value was not just in brute force or advanced tech. They had something the aliens often lacked: moral clarity, adaptability, and the willingness to act decisively without hesitation. The battle raged for hours. Some raider ships were destroyed outright, others forced to retreat. Civilians were moved to safe zones, guided by both human and alien teams. The sky was a tapestry of light, sound, and tension, yet Ethan remained calm, calculating, and decisive. Finally, after a long and grueling confrontation, the enemy retreated. The colony had survived. Humans and aliens alike cheered, exhausted but relieved. The Council convened again, this time with a different atmosphere. Respect replaced suspicion. The leader of the Council, who had questioned Ethan on the first day, stepped forward. "You have done more than any human or alien could expect," he said, his voice solemn. "You have shown courage, wisdom, and honor. We owe you a debt." Ethan nodded respectfully. "I only did what anyone should do. Protect life, respect others, and act with honor. That is all." Lyra stepped beside him, her eyes bright. "You have not only saved us, but shown us what humans can truly be." "I trust you completely, Ethan," the Council murmured, and some members who had been skeptical now looked thoughtful. Ethan's words from the first day, "She is too pure," resonated with them. They began to understand that respect, restraint, and moral integrity were qualities humans carried, even when their actions seemed different from alien expectations. In the days that followed, Humans and aliens worked side by side to rebuild the colony. Ethan continued to demonstrate his leadership, not through domination but through collaboration. He encouraged learning from each other, sharing knowledge and skills and cultivating trust. Lyra often accompanied him on his patrols of the colony and surrounding terrain. She had grown more confident, learning the value of observation, patience, and decisive action from him. Their conversations deepened, moving beyond science and strategy into philosophy, morality, and the nature of life. One evening, as they watched the twin moons rise over the valley, Lyra spoke softly. "Ethan, when you first arrived, I did not understand humans. I thought you were just strong and clever. Now I see. There is something more. You see value in things others overlook. You respect life in a way we have not fully grasped." Ethan smiled gently. "Humans have always had that capacity, even when we fail to live up to it. We believe in protecting what is good and pure, even if it is difficult. That is not weakness, it is strength." Lyra looked at him, her eyes reflecting moonlight. "You are different, Ethan, not just a human. Something more. You have honor, courage, and clarity. You have saved our people, and you have saved me in ways I cannot fully describe." He placed a hand lightly on hers, a gesture accepted in their culture as trust and solidarity. "I promise to respect you, to protect you, and I will, as long as I am able." The council, observing from a distance, began to see a new perspective. Humans were no longer outsiders to be feared or controlled. They were allies, capable of great courage, moral judgment, and insight. Ethan's restraint, his focus on respect and life, had proven that humans could contribute something unique to this alien society. Weeks passed, and the colony thrived. Trade routes were restored, energy systems stabilized, and the citizens, human and alien, adapted to working together. Ethan and Lyra's bond deepened, founded on mutual respect, trust, and a shared understanding of honor. One day, a celebratory ceremony was held. The council invited all citizens, and for the first time, Ethan stood not as an outsider but as an honored guest. He had proven that humans could be not only allies in battle but partners in culture and progress. The council leader approached him, a subtle smile on his face. "Ethan, you have shown us the value of humans. You have taught us courage, honor, and restraint. We now welcome you as a friend and advisor." Ethan bowed respectfully. "Thank you. I am honored. But it is not just me. Humans as a species value life, respect, and integrity. I hope that is something your people will continue to see and understand." Lyra stepped forward, taking his hand in both of hers. "You have shown all of us, Ethan, not through force or command, but through action and honor. You have proven that humanity is capable of greatness, and you have shown me what true trust and purity mean." The council members watched in quiet awe. Some smiled, some nodded, others remained thoughtful. But the message was clear. Humans were no longer merely guests. They were partners, capable of inspiring trust and admiration in even the most traditional of alien societies. As the ceremony concluded and citizens began to disperse, Ethan and Lyra stood together on a balcony overlooking the valley. The twin moons cast a serene light over the landscape, reflecting off the crystal cliffs and the restored colony below. Ethan looked at Lyra, feeling a sense of fulfillment and quiet pride. He had arrived as an outsider, questioned and mistrusted, yet through integrity, courage, and respect, he had forged bonds that would endure. Lyra looked back at him, her eyes soft and sincere. "You have changed everything, Ethan, not through power but through honor, not through force but through respect. You have shown us what humans truly are." Ethan nodded. "And you have shown me what it means to be a friend, a partner, and a guide. Together, humans and your people can achieve great things, not through dominance but through understanding." As they stood in silence watching the moons rise higher in the sky, a sense of calm and hope settled over them. The future was uncertain, but for the first time, both humans and aliens saw it not with fear but with trust, collaboration, and shared purpose. The human soldier who had arrived quietly, respectful, and cautious had proven that even in a distant world among a proud and wary alien race, humanity could shine. Through courage, honor, and the simple truth that some things, like purity, are meant to be protected and cherished. And in that quiet moment, with Lyra by his side, Ethan knew that this was only the beginning of a new era. one where humans would no longer be outsiders, but valued partners, capable of shaping the galaxy with their unique combination of bravery, wisdom, and moral clarity.